Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Kat Laiacone joining us again. Excited to have the founder and CEO. And of course, the name of the company is Career Leverage Coaching. And we want to talk about the work she's doing based out of West Haven, Connecticut. The website is careerleveragecoach.com. And Kat joins us again live here today on the podcast and Zoom. And we're going to talk more about all of her services. So welcome. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well, Jill. Thanks so much for having me again today.
Pleasure to have you here. And I know you have amazing stories, amazing testimonials of all these people you've been helping for quite some time. For those that may not know a little bit about your background and what you do, would you mind just telling us, for starters, what is it like to be a coach and how did you get started?
All right. First of all, I love coaching. I think one of my passions has always been to really help people. In corporate America, I did that in all of my roles, but there was one consistent theme, and that was a little one-on-one conversation with my clients to help troubleshoot, problem solve. And those were the ones that I found were the most heartfelt, right? And so as I was navigating corporate America and I was ready for a change, like most people were after COVID, looking to do something else. And then I found coaching as a passion, and I've been diving in ever since.
We're excited to have you back. And again, careerleveragecoach.com. And did you want to share any other pages before we continue?
No, I think that's good for Career Leverage Coach. What I wanted to talk about, Jill, today is as people think about a career coach, typically it's like, okay, well, I don't need to find a job today, so why would I work with a career coach? Right. So I want to talk about some of the other things that
Sure.
career coaching offers. And that is kind of navigating your current path of career. Maybe somebody wants to get a promotion at their company and they're like, how do I even go about that? Right. And that's where a career coach can help navigate, right? Who are the key players? Some of the ways that people can interact with leadership to make their name known, right? To invite ideas, foster ideas. So that's another way a career coach can help with that. And also, Jill, I wanted to tell you about a recent client that I signed up. Let's say we're going to say her name is Lisa,
Okay.
for the sake of confidentiality.
That's fine.
Lisa said that she didn't grow up in this country, right? She came over here as a teenager, so English is not her first language. So she's been in corporate America a while. She's been in her role. She's ready to take the next step in the leadership. However, her current leaders see potential in her, but need her to navigate a little bit more of her confidence, her self-assuredness, maybe her vocabulary, how she communicates ideas. So we are actually just started working together to help cultivate that, to help her get prepared for her next level, in leadership, which is what she's striving to do.
Awesome. This is great, great work. Okay, continue.
Yes. So she's one
Oh,
that's really cool that I'm able to do that. And recently, to
yeah.
help out a local school, my local school districts, I've been working as a relief teacher, as some people call it, a substitute, and working with all types of kids from kindergarten to high school. And that has really opened up the idea that I really do like teaching. So I'm thinking, going, okay, well, I'm a career coach, right? Career counseling, and I like teaching. How can I combine these two together? And I think I'm going to pivot my business as one of the other offerings that I can bring about is corporate training, right? So I can speak to people and do professional development. I've created a couple programs to get started. So I'm super excited.
Yay. And I would love
Yay.
to dive into these specifically when you get a chance.
Yes. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about is just like one of the top like four reasons why people even should even consider corporate training, right? Companies like, okay, well, people know their job. Why should I even invest in it? Well, it's actually been proven to show to improve productivity, people's performance. It boosts motivation, right? So what it is the employee tends to see in a recent survey done by LinkedIn that when a company invests in them and in their training, they feel more valued and appreciated. So it actually
Mm-hmm.
helps them feel motivated about their role, right? Something else that you can build leaders from within, just like what I was talking about with my one new client, Lisa, right? That the company sees real potential in this one person. They're like, they still need a little help, to inch them along the rest of the way. And professional development can help with that too. The employees want to stay, right? Because if they do feel like their employer's investing time, then they're like, okay, this is the kind of culture and company that I want to work for. And then also it opens the collaboration for people to talk about their ideas, improvements, right? Better ways to kind of do things together. So those are some of the reasons why I think that it's really great for corporations to invest in their people. There is a really good ROI, really good return
Mm-hmm.
on investment.
I was gonna just say that's return on investment. Yes, got it.
So some of the things that a couple of the programs that I'm rolling out. The first one is about work-life balance. And this actually benefits both, people individually and professionally, right? And then in the training, I provide like real life case scenarios. We talk about engagement with the different participants to get people involved. There's even like a quiz at the end to make sure that people understand kind of what they were taught in the
Mm-hmm.
training. So I've been to some corporate trainings and they do get kind of boring and stuffy. And I found the ones that I enjoyed the most are the ones that actually ask for participation and engagement. And my programs even offer an opportunity for breakout rooms, right? Let's breakout rooms. What are we going to talk about this topic? How do we bring the scenarios and then bring them back to the group overall to talk about what they discussed?
Breakout rooms. That's when you kind of break down a group and they go a different area. I'm like, I never heard of that term. Okay.
Yeah, so it's great, right? So the Zoom world as we have it, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit of breakout rooms so people can actually
Okay.
go into a private space to talk. And I could do these in person as well, trainings, but I realize the Zoom world is happening, right?
Yeah.
And perhaps I can reach a larger audience by also offering these.
Perfect.
That's great. And something that I can do too, like a company is talking about what I want to do with companies, I want to meet with them, right? And I want to build a diagnosis, like what's going on in your organization? What are some of the struggles that you're having? And this is where coaching like really comes into play. It's that attentive listening, identifying the client's needs, and then really diving in deeper to what obstacles are there? What are some of the
Mm-hmm.
trainings that might be helpful to people? Right? Because also with corporate trainings, you want something tangible you can
That
take away, right?
mm-hmm.
So it's keeping it simple, and I even offer a summary sheet, right, or a little reference sheet for when people leave the meeting that they can be like, all right, I remember these 3 points that were covered. So that is that's really cool. So that's one of the work-life balance is one of the ones I'm doing. Also emotional intelligence, right? We hear this phrase. Even I heard it a few years ago. I'm like, what is emotional intelligence? Do you know what it is, Jill?
Emotional intelligence? Good question. Thinking artificial intelligence for AI now, emotional intelligence. It would be, I guess, handling your emotions properly, the way we should, intelligently. I don't know how to describe it.
I
No,
think
I
you
do
did it.
not. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm even right.
you're right on the money, right? It's learning to really manage our emotions because not only do we
The
have our
right
intelligence
way.
the right way,
Okay,
right?
the intelligent way. Okay. I like this being put on the spot.
Well, good. You get 5 stars for your answer, right? You get an
Thank
A.
you. Thank you.
Uh, because it is true, right? When think
Mm-hmm.
about when you're in a group of people, and if there is a little bit of a conflict or someone really is emotional because they're passionate about one thing, other people can take it a certain way. Maybe they pull back. They think it's like, oh, that's a little hot. Don't want to
Yeah.
go near it. So it's really about understanding our own emotions, right? How we can navigate them, and then understanding how they can influence other people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
especially as leaders, right? If you're in the heat of the moment, maybe if you're motivated and you're
Mm,
passionate, right? And it's positive, perhaps you can really, push people, towards a goal, right? Or really
yeah.
get them motivated and jazzed up about getting it done. The same can be in the reverse if
Okay.
they hear fear in a leader's voice, right? Or if they hear some foreboding of what may happen in XYZ time, then people are influenced by that too.
All
So it's
right.
kind of managing, like, as we're having these emotions, how do we communicate them to others, realizing we're not the only ones in the room sometimes.
Good point. Thank you. Hmm.
Cool. So you did great. And also on the program, you identified triggers, right? There's always little things that go bing, pick it up.
I got nervous. I was like, I don't even know. I'm like, because we were talking yesterday. My son is 9 and he wants to know what AI is. So when you said AI, I'm like, EI? And I'm like, I could learn about AI.
AIEIO.
Yes, yes. So we had that discussion, but yeah, got it. Emotional intelligence.
Yes. Yes. So it is important, right? It's something that really hasn't been discussed, but this
Mm-hmm.
was a phrase that was coined like back in the 70s
Yeah,
from some professors at Yale, where they really realized that, not only is our intelligence important at a job to be able to know how to do the job, but then how can we manage our emotions really to kind of keep us focused to be able to do the job,
true.
right?
Mm-hmm. All
and
right.
and and collaborate with others. So again, kudos to you, Jill. You got that emotional intelligence. You can tell your son tonight, like, mommy's
Well,
emotionally
I'm going to
intelligent.
teach you about this now. Yes.
Just as important as AI,
Thanks,
probably
Kat.
more so.
Yes. Okay.
Um, couple other programs I really use for team building, right? So this would even be for managers. How do managers like bring people together, right? How can they build a cohesion, maybe a camaraderie within the team? So I can help companies with that, and also even just staff members themselves, right? Let's say you have 10 or 12 people on different teams. How do they know how to communicate with each other? How can they do that in a respectful way? And that's definitely where the breakout rooms and the exercises really come into play, because when you're giving someone real life examples, that to me is the easiest way to retain something, right? Put someone actually through the process, have them think about it, come up with a resolution or potential outcome, and that really helps hopefully solidify the information for them to be able to use in a positive way. And then my last one is creative problem solving, because there's always some issue or something that we have to solve out there. It's like, well, how do you do it, right? Like, how do we get creative in this time? So it's just like walking through the steps. You're like looking at the big picture, you're getting data, you're bringing others involved, you're collaborating, you're solution based, right? How are you going to find those answers? What's realistic? What's not? Everybody agrees. So, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty awesome to be able to go out there and be able to communicate some of these ideas and interact with teams and see what answers they come up with, and apply that coaching a little bit to some of their concerns or their issues, to be able to navigate that, like I said, in a positive way.
All right. Let's remind everyone how we can contact you, Kat. Would you mind sharing?
No, not at all. So, Kat Laiacone, my email address is kat@careerleveragecoach.com. My phone number is 203-309-1007. And I offer career coaching, and corporate training is my newest adventure. So I'm looking
Perfect.
forward to starting that soon.
Thank you so much. All right, let's continue with your offerings. And again, career and life coaching. She can work with you virtually. I mean, and in person. You do in person in Connecticut?
Yes, yes, I'll do in person in Connecticut. I do have a client that I work with in person in Connecticut, and I actually have a couple in Connecticut that prefer the virtual.
Got it. All right.
So,
See?
so I think it's nice to have both, especially with virtual, because Zoom has become a little bit more user friendly, right, and more acceptable in today's environment. That having someone be in their own home, maybe in their PJs if they like, cup of coffee, cup of tea, and in a safe space, right, where they can speak freely, sometimes makes that more relaxing than someone that has to, meet someone in an office that's sitting across from them.
Yeah.
Um, but everybody, flows differently. So that's the nice part, that I can offer both. Like, some people are like, no, I want to feel your energy right with me and be in the same room.
Yeah, I understand. But everything since like the pandemic, it's so great. I feel like this is working wonders for so many. Being able to talk to anyone around the world with Zoom, these FaceTime capabilities, it's still baffling. People have new jobs because of this too, right?
Yes, matter of fact, I have some of the clients that I'm working with now that they've been remote, they're like, all right, I don't want to go back to the office at all. So
Yeah,
I need to find another position that's going to give me that, quality that I
flexibility.
want. Yes.
Hmm. And overall, more ROI because you're working harder, you're really happy, and you're churning everything out. That's what I think. Yep, yep, yep.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It is beneficial overall. And I think I mentioned last time, like the latest generation, they really want that work-life balance. It is important to them not to give it all to corporate America and come home, exhausted. I'm even hearing how some younger generations aren't even getting cars anymore because they're like, well, I can have Uber Eats and why pay for a car payment and auto insurance?
It's hysterical. My cousin, she's 25. She never got a driver's license, and she's like, "I'm just going to use mass transit when I need." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You don't want to drive? You don't want?" I'm baffled. She's the first person in the family that doesn't want to drive, and I'm like, "It's happening. I've heard about this."
I think about it, right? Me being part of the older population, I couldn't wait to get my driver's license.
Ah,
When was I 16 and when was I going to take the test and
mm-hmm.
what first car was I going to have? And I didn't even care what it looked like as long as it had four wheels and a motor, right? And
I
drove
know
down the
things have
road.
changed. Yep, for sure.
But I think it's good, that the generations are evolving, and I love the fact that it's more about work-life balance
Yep.
because that is more about coaching, and I think that is what is a little more sustainable. That we can really work hard, right? It's not about not working hard. It's kind of like working smarter, more efficiently, and not letting
Mm-hmm.
it consume us too much.
Perfect. I'm all about that. All right. So we still have more time to obviously chat. What else is on your list for today?
Let's see. How about we can talk about some of my other couple other programs that I've come up with that kind of fall in line with professional development, but more on the one-on-one level,
Sure.
right? So like my one client that came to me, Lisa, that talked about wanting to build confidence. I have a couple other clients that I'm talking with that they have some challenges like in building a budget, staying accountable, right? How to kind of navigate self-esteem to get through some conflicts at work. So
Always.
that's
Yep.
where I was talking about career coaching. Sometimes it kind of is all in the coaching bubble per se, but there's things that I like about really like about coaching is that I am bringing people to a place where they can take off on their own, right? Like I will say this, I had to say goodbye to a client this morning, or at least farewell for now, as we called it, um, because we went through a number of coaching sessions and she's really in a good place. So it's like parting with sweet sorrow. Is that the that the
Mm-hmm.
phrase?
Yes.
You know, because it's beautiful to see that people are evolving, um, and and it is a professional industry and it is a professional relationship. But there still is because it's so intimate, right? You're sharing something, really helping someone do something just for themselves, right? For that personal goal. So there is kind of like that bond that will forever stay with that person because you were on this journey for this time period that was quite pivotal in their lives.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, so
My programs.
my
And there's
programs, my
more.
coaching. um I think it's about like when people are thinking about a coach, think about some areas that you've tried to do things for a while and it's just not working out,
Okay.
right? It doesn't mean that people are failures. Sometimes my clients, even when I'm just the initial consultation, they're just beat up a little bit, they're a little bit like, I've been trying this on my, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I can
Mm-hmm.
get out of this. And that's what happens sometimes is we get a little bit too much in our head. It's easy to do, right? If you don't have someone to bounce off good ideas with or someone that you can flow with communication, collaborate on some things, we can all get stuck in our heads. So that's why I recommend folks do reach out to coaches for help in different areas of your life, whether it's a relationship coach, right? Particular finance coach or a business coach, whatever the situation is, because coaches are here to help.
And
Like I
coaches
said,
have coaches, right?
yes, I actually have two coaches. We do reciprocal
Two.
coaching,
Ah,
and yeah, we help each other out. We bounce around ideas. We talk about challenges. So I love how we just continue to build on the knowledge for each other and support each other in that way.
cool. All right, good to know. You are not alone. See, it's all of us could benefit. And we still have a few minutes left in the show. Kat, did you want to also highlight some of the other accolades that you could do with your career leveraging coaching?
Yes. So like we talked about, like building confidence, right? If folks are looking to build confidence, if you're looking for navigating your career, short term and long term, maybe you're trying
Okay.
for promotion now, you go, what makes sense long term, right? Especially if people are passionate about what they're currently doing, they're like, okay, well, let's continue, climbing. How do we do that? Is it within the organization? Does it make sense to move to another organization? So just trying to educate others, right, in a way that they can learn what works best for them in the career world, how to navigate that, and how to take those next steps.
Perfect.
And yeah, and that for the corporate training, that's what my goal is, to do others. Like, how do you make the most out of it right now? Build a succession plan for employers, right? A lot of times people really don't want to change jobs. They just assume their employer, pardon the pun, level up a little, right? So if I can help employers keep their staff, that's going to save, like we talked about, ROI. It's going to save them money in the long term, money, time, effort, energy.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And how can we reach out to you and tell them, of course, that we're sending them over? Make sure you
Great.
mention you heard it here. How do we do that?
All right. So you can go to careerleveragecoach.com is my website. I have my programs listed. If you'd like to send me an email, you can send me an email at cat@careerleveragecoach.com. Telephone number is 203-309-1007.
All right. Thank you so much. Always so thorough, have a lot to talk about, and always very well prepared. Thank you for that. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Thanks. And don't forget about the emotional intelligence,
I
Jill.
got to teach my son. Yep, I am. I'm so sorry. That was great, though. But it's true. We gotta learn to manage our emotions the right way. All right. Thank you so much, Kat, for that. I appreciate it.
All right. You take care.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.